Good morning and welcome. Happy Hump Day, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and I guess the owner of KHNC Radio, 1360 The Line. Well, not quite, really. I guess that's a little early. We're still waiting. You know, like the government, you just got to wait. We're waiting on final FCC approval. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. Listen, I got to get everybody to know. Okay, so now if you go out to 1360 KHNC, you throw the .com in there if you like. Listen, this is the radio station everybody's talking about. We finally have all the schedules are correct and adjusted for time zone. So if you're in Arizona, you'll see the right times for you. Colorado, New York, Hawaii, Europe, Asia, all of those things. And I know it takes us a little while to get stuff done. I've got a big meeting today with podcast. We're actually ready. We're ready to do it, but we're trying to figure out a way to where, for most people, it doesn't matter. Most people have like an app or a podcast thing, and they subscribe somewhere, and it'll be great. But we're trying to make it to where, because I know how a lot of you are. Hey, I don't want to download any apps. I don't want to give out my information. I don't want to subscribe or sign up for something. There is a way to do it, and we're just trying to see if we can, cost effectively. Because a lot of you say, well, hey, you can do it for Patriot Trading Group, which we can and have and do, but that has to do with us being on KXXT, not because I'm doing it. It's just a perk, if you will, from the large conglomerates that are able to do that. But I'll keep you updated. It's going to happen. We're making it work. Make sure Eric is on every single day, and it's getting better and better and better this week. Just this week alone, we got 3 new advertisers coming in, cutting new commercials. Just got an email this morning for another one. I mean, it's going to be awesome. We got more lineup changes coming. We got more great programming coming. Trust me, it's the place you're going to want to be. 1360KHNC.com. Don't forget the metals plans are getting ready to roll out. We should be, I think we're going to be done, and every month's a little different, or every quarter's a little different, but I think we'll be done with the metals plan by Tuesday. Yeah, so get ready. We haven't even, obviously the month's not quite over yet, haven't started shipping anything yet, but we've got it down. We think we'll be ready to get her done by Tuesday. Those of you who have never signed up for the plan, don't forget, 10% bonus between now and the end of April. I'll tell you why. There was this commercial with these, I don't know what they do. I'm guessing it's annuities or something like that. And he's like, yeah, you sign up now, you get a 10% bonus. So I'm like, all right, well, you know what? If that's what I got to do to entice you guys to do it, I'll do it. A 10% bonus. You sign up for the metals plan between now and the end of April. However, whatever your monthly deal is, if you want you do $100 a month, I'll throw an extra $10. Do $1,000 a month. If it's $100, free gold, free silver, just for signing up. 800-951-0592. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we do, I got to bring it up, and I normally don't do it, but I just have to. The Jesse Smollett thing. Right, for those of you that don't know that name, you've been living under a rock. I guess he's an actor on one of these TV shows. Empire is the name of the show. I don't watch that show, but people say it's good. Whatever. He's the guy that paid 2 of his, I'll call them friends. I don't know if they were friends, co-worker. I think one of them was like his trainer or something like that, to beat him up and make it look like they were supporters of the president, and the intent was he wanted people to believe that it was white people that support the president that beat him up. Come to find out, they were black. They aren't supporters of the president, and they beat him up because he paid them to do it. Yesterday, all charges got dropped. And I'm going to read to you what the Assistant Cook County State Attorney General told CBS News about it. They said, hey, do you believe he's innocent? He answered, I do not believe that he is innocent. Asked if he believes Smollett is guilty. He answered with one word, yes. He confirmed that dropping the charges, which included 16 felony counts of the staging of the January attack and then lying to officials about it, neither vindicates nor exonerates Smollett. Of course, he's out there still trying to tell people, I didn't do it. Our priority, this is the reason why they dropped it allegedly. Our priority is violent crimes and the drivers of violence. Jesse Smollett is neither one of those. Excuse me? He tried to incite essentially a race war. Wouldn't that be a driver of violence? I'm just saying. And again, and I know we got like the big school scandal where the rich people are paying their way in. Just another example of a famous person getting off. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. Isn't it great to be an American? Well, it's not white, so therefore it's fine now. That's the new thing now. Think about it. Doesn't have to even admit that he did it, even though everybody knows he did. No restitution for spending the taxpayers' money. Nah, just go ahead. You're fine. So I guess what we're saying now in America, listen, we don't really want to enforce any laws. Unless you're a violent crime or, you want to advocate violence, which I don't know how that didn't, but apparently, at least in Illinois now, you should just tell the guy, if you're up and you got charges against you, and it's it doesn't have to do with, obviously like murder or attempted murder, right? Hey, just say, hey, I get to go free, right? Hey, it's a drug conviction. I had a lot of weed or coke, or I should go free. Ridiculous. And of course, not to mention, let's face it, obviously it was really another crazy attack, in a weird way against the President of the United States. And how anybody thinks that's justice, I don't know. And it's just sad. This is how bad it really is here now. And it's only going to get worse. We got a lot of things to talk about. Dow's down big today. And get ready. Listen, hold on to your hats. We had huge sell-offs in the bond markets across the world. Matter of fact, at this second, the U.S. 10-year note down to 2.36. So now the 10-year note is below the Fed funds rate of 2.40 and falling. German bond yields have gone negative again. Now Germany more negative 0.085 on the German 10-year note. The Japanese 10-year note negative 0.067. The UK 10-year note at 0.98. The Spanish 10-year note at 1.03. Put it this way, the Italians, who we know how much trouble they're in, their 10-year note's at 2.46. We're at 2.36. hang on to your hats. Things are going to get interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. Today, more news came out. This was the trade deficit number for January. And not that it's a big deal, okay, because it's really not. I mean, we are and have been for decades, ever since we let these clowns in charge. And by clowns, I'm talking about the bankers. Ever since we left these guys in charge, we're nothing more than a debtor nation. And we had two pieces, really, of economic data out today that support that. Number one was the trade deficit. And then number two was the current account deficit. So they're two different numbers, but they kind of say the same thing. The current account deficit number is whether or not over the course of a quarter, okay, so you take, just take a 3-month window. Hey, do you loan the world money? Or does the world loan you money? Right? I mean, that's it in its most simplest terms. Right? So the two numbers. The account, right? The trade deficit, and then of course the quarterly account deficit. Both of them were out today. Both of them were big time into the negative. But I want to focus on the trade number. And the only reason why I do, there's only one reason. Because if you turned on the idiot box, if you're that dumb that you want to listen to that crap, you would have thought, man, the Trump trade wars finally working. If you went out onto the mainstream media on the internet, went out to Market Watch or CNBC, go out to their websites, same thing. Hey, it fell by boatloads from December. Now, of course, the average person knows, December was Christmas. I would hope it fell in January, right? But nonetheless, they said fell 14%, the biggest fall in, a decade. I don't even remember how big of it was. And here's the story, and then I'm going to give you the truth, okay? Largely reflecting a steep drop in the value of imports. The Commerce Department released a report on Wednesday showing the U.S. trade deficit narrowed much more than anticipated in January. Yeah. They said, well, here's the funny part. They said it narrowed to $51.1 billion in January. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's still $600 billion in a year, annualized, but okay. And they said that it fell from $59 billion, almost $60 billion, to $51 billion. And how they come up with this great number. And they talked about imports, and they talked about exports, and they said the Trump trade war starting to really pay off now. Guess what? That whole thing was not true. There wasn't one piece of truth in it. So let me tell you how it works. There's two different government agencies at work, right? The Commerce Department releases the report. The Census Bureau actually tracks goods, okay? So there's two pieces to the trade deficit number. There's the goods, and then there's the services. Okay? So the goods is stuff, right? Cars, crude oil, soybeans, corn, right? It's stuff. Services is what? I don't know, banking crap. Right? How many Visa cards did we unload on the Chinese today? So let me give you the numbers. We imported $209 billion worth of stuff in January. Forget about banking, just stuff. We exported $136 billion worth of stuff and some change. We ran a deficit of $72,140 million in stuff. So how did we go from $72 million to $51 million? That was all in the quote-unquote services side of things. Apparently, we sold more banking stuff and it may not even been to the Chinese. But I just want to say, how does that correlate to last year? Because they're saying it got better, right? That's what they're saying. Last January, see, because I got the numbers, because I know where to go. We imported $206 billion worth of stuff. This year was 208. Last time I checked, 208 is bigger than 206. Now, we exported $132 billion. Okay, we get it. So this year, 136. That's $4 billion. Essentially, I guess what I'm getting to, you know what the difference was this year? About $2 billion. We ran a $74 billion trade deficit in terms of stuff. Last January, this January, it's $72 billion. Now, I know I went to public school, but that's nowhere close to a 14% decrease in stuff. But again, this is what the media wants you to believe. They want you to believe that somehow, miraculously, right, we just stopped buying stuff from China. We didn't. Matter of fact, we bought more stuff than ever. But again, it's all in how you look at it, right? I look at this. Here we go, right? I'm going to read you a headline. So I'm watching Market Watch. They got a scrolling news deal. They show the stock market falling, right? This is where all you 401kers go. Here's the headline. U.S. trade deficit sinks 15% to start 2019 as China tensions disrupts the flow of goods. No, it didn't. Matter of fact, the flow of goods was essentially almost the exact same. Sorry, and I know it sucks, and I don't want to be negative. It's not about negative. It's just about reality. Wake up. They lie to us on a daily basis. And you know what the worst part is? They own us. They own the media. They tell you, why do you think they've told you, oh, if you don't have your money in your 401k, you're a moron. How are you not all millionaires? How are all you 401k guys and gals not millionaires? Have you ever asked yourself? I mean, the Dow is still 25,000. 10 years ago, it was 6,700. It probably needs to be back at 6,700. How are you all not millionaires? Right? We should be walking around, and everybody out there should be, oh, my man, I have all this money. But yet you don't. How? Well, you know how. Listen, it was never designed for you. It was, well, first of all, it was never designed to be your retirement. But this is how they get it done. And I just wanted to bring it up because it's such bull. None of that actually happened. Yes, it is possible that J.P. Morgan, right, lent a bunch of money to somebody out there or sold a bunch of credit cards to a country in Africa. I don't know. Did you see this one, though? This was really a real tell here. Every once, and I'm not sure. Again, I'm so glad we voted for Trump and not Hillary. I am. I don't know if I fully trust everything he's doing, if he's one of them or one of us. I go back and forth. Today, He's one of us. The president has reportedly unleashed his latest criticism of the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell in a meeting with House Republicans yesterday. Listen, it's time. Let's shine the light on the central bank. Please, 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 please. According to Politico, which cited several people present at the meeting, about 24 members of the House GOP attended the session, which was about trade and the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Now, remember, right, we still need the Republicans to sign off. And we know, listen, that was, yes, was it a little better than what we had? I don't even know that. I'm going to go with I think so, right? I think we got a little bit of something. Did we really? Was it this great, huge win? No. But still, a little bit better is still better. Trump reportedly called Jay Powell a bad putter. Maybe he needs to go to Mar-a-Lago, practice his putts a little more. I'll return with what he had to say about the rest of it when we get back.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, presenting a daily conservative pro-family perspective since 1983 and continuing the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, from the Phyllis Schlafly Center Studios, Ed Martin.
A 2018 federal lawsuit supported by many hopeful liberals failed to deliver last January. Mary Walsh and Bev Nance, a married lesbian couple from St. Louis, Missouri, filed suit against the retirement community known as Friendship Village. After submitting their application and deposit in 2016, they were informed that their application was denied on the basis of Friendship Village's cohabitation policy defining marriage as a union between one man and one woman. The denial went so far as to say, as marriage is understood in the Bible. This sparked outrage, and the couple filed a federal lawsuit in July 2018 alleging sex discrimination under the Fair Housing Act. Their suit alleged that they were treated badly because of their sex and association with a person of a particular sex, among other things. But U.S. District Judge Jean Hamilton shocked the couple when she struck down their complaint, ruling that the Fair Housing Act does not provide protection against discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Judge Hamilton wrote, "Under the circumstances, the court finds that the claims boil down to those of discrimination based on sexual orientation rather than sex alone." She then referred to a 1990 precedent saying the Eighth Circuit has squarely held that Title VII does not prohibit discrimination against homosexuals. Hamilton even recognized that while some courts have ruled recently in favor of protecting orientation, she was bound to follow the Eighth Circuit, under whose jurisdiction she falls. Well, imagine that. A judge who behaves like a judge. Hamilton recognizes that a judge's job is to interpret the laws on the books, rather than to liberally reinterpret or completely change those and create new law from the bench. Liberals have long found it hard to convince enough Americans of their radical positions and change the laws the right way through legislatures. So they often find themselves depending on liberal activist judges to radically change or even issue new laws from the bench. We have long fought against this judicial supremacy, as Phyllis Schlafly did. We are thankful for the good sense and jurisprudence of District Court Judge Jean Hamilton in knowing and abiding by her constitutional role in the judiciary.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Can activist judges be stopped, or will they continue to overturn laws with no regard for the Constitution or the will of the people? Connect with us at phyllisschlafly.com to hear alerts on rulings made by never-elected supremacist judges and to share your viewpoint. That's phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. He can't putt. The guy can't putt. You know, Eric always has been talking. If you haven't been listening to Eric, then you got to tune in. 3 o'clock Arizona time, 4 o'clock Colorado time. Man, it's awesome. But he's talking about these PGA events, right? You see him on the TV. I call them the sleeping shows, NASCAR and golf, right? You want to be a fan of NASCAR or golf because on Sunday, right? That's when the race is. That's when the final round of the golf tournament is. And it takes 4 or 5 hours. Oh, see, honey, I'd like to, go grocery shopping with you, but, the golf's on. And, of course, let's face it, you watch an hour, you fall asleep while you watch it, you wake up an hour and a half later, it's great. And these guys, when they'll miss a putt, and it'll cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Oh, he three-putted the 18th green, and all of a sudden, instead of finishing second, he finishes seventh, cost him $500,000. Well, Trump's letting everybody know, hey, guess what? Jay Powell can't putt. He keeps screwing it up. The golf metaphor harkens back to a December tweet for which Trump said the central bank was like a powerful golfer who can't score because he has no touch. And you know what? Here's the one thing that's true. Power. Way, way, way too much power. And this is what I'm hopeful for. Keep it up. We need to know what's really real, what's really happening. Let's get rid of all the fake numbers. Let's get rid of all the seasonal adjustments. Let's get rid of it all. So you can truly understand what they're doing. Just think about the bond market today. Just blowing up all over the world. I don't even know now, with the German 10-year note back into negative territory. What are we at, 15 trillion, 20 trillion of debt now negative? Where do you think the bond market's telling you where we're going? Did you see the president wants to put Stephen Moore on the Federal Reserve? Stephen Moore came out this morning. We need a 50% rate cut immediately. Remember Janet Yellen yesterday? Remember I was telling you, listen, they're getting you ready. Right? And they're going to try to tell you, don't worry, it's good news. It's not good news. See, we're getting ready to go back. We're going back in. Sorry. No one could afford this stuff. Right now they're trying to make it, right, housing's in a complete nosedive, and they're going to try to save it with, cheap rates again. It always works better the first time around, right? The first time, and I always use that the drug analogy. Man, the first time I tried heroin, I don't do heroin. Right? The first time I tried, it was great. And then every time you try it after that, it's always a little less great. And the next thing you know, you're holding a cardboard sign out at the 101 in Scottsdale. We're not going to stop at zero. Right? We're not. You know that. I know that. And you start thinking about what that really means. What does it really say? Your fiat money is worthless. It's worthless. And they want it to be worthless. Their whole goal is to what? Now, here's the problem. See, they already gorged us with debt. Right? All the companies got all this debt. We got all this debt. So even if the debt hey, we're going to lower rates. Now you can borrow even more money. You're like, well, I've already borrowed. I'm already maxed. You don't think? Here, I'll give you an example. Hold on, let me find it. Here it is. See, I try. I miss. There's too much to go on. I can't find everything. But the FHA. When was this? Monday. So see, it took me a few days. The FHA said, you know what? We kind of got a little problem. Our credit risk keep rising. Right? Of course, everybody knows, right? The FHA is first-time home buyers. Right? Anybody that if you can't afford to put 20% down, right? You think about the prices of these homes, right? You know, who out there's got $100,000 to put down on a $500,000 house, right? Think about it. Even the FHA, I think they make you put 10%. I think. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But they said, hey, we've been giving out all these loans, and people are starting not to pay. So effective immediately, we are going to impose stricter criteria on buyers. So, again, these are all the buyers at the lower end of the market. And I think, I don't quote me, and maybe Eric can talk to James Morgan in Colorado and get all the numbers. Or maybe you can talk to Lori here, his wife, she'll know. I'm not sure what the maximum FHA loan is. Maybe $400,000, somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000. That's the max. And they're saying that there has been a steady increase in credit risk, and we've seen continued deterioration in credit quality. They said that the average borrower's credit score is continuing to fall, and that 28% of mortgage approvals in the fiscal first quarter of 2019 had credit scores below 640. Whoops. Things are only getting tighter. And now today, again, the big news today, German bond yields falling into negative territory. One of the largest, I think the largest German chip maker today cut earnings and revenue and sales by 50%. Get ready. 800-951-0592. Today, I've got U.S. $20 gold pieces, and I don't have a ton of them. I wish I did. They're $1,400 at 800-951-0592. Take the time, put them away. Get ready. I don't know what's going to happen now. Maybe the banks are going to just start charging us for all our deposits. Who knows? 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number, U.S. $20 gold pieces. As soon as I get off there, I'll get them online, $1,400 at 800-951-0592. Gold's down $2 and getting ready to go positive, by the way. It was down quite a bit more than that early on. People are just starting to wake up to what's happening here. $1,313 to the ounce right now. The Dow is down over 200 points now as bond yields continuing to fall out of bed. They said that the U.S., they're joining the rest of the world. Big test today here. I'll just give you a number to look out for. So in the S&P 500, and hold on, I just need to get there. Give me a second. Yeah, okay, we're below it now. 2,800 was a big, I'll call it the computer number. A big break below that now, 2,788 right now. That's not a healthy sign. I told you this, though. I told you. I told you a week ago. Remember, I came right out here, right on this air, and I told you, this is it for the Dow. I told you. That's all right. Go keep believing that idiot financial advisor of yours. I'm sure you're going to do real well. Talking about now the bond market starting to implode all over the world now. And listen, remember what they did. Okay, it's not hard to understand. They brought rates to zero and below zero everywhere. All over the world. And everybody, because what did they need? They wanted growth. See, they broke it. Remember how it really started, though. We had a debt problem, People didn't want to pay their debts. Think about all the stores that have closed. They're all leveraged to the hilt. All the malls, all of those debts, they're no good. Think about what I told you about bank earnings in December. They said they made $250 billion, which is ridiculous. I said these banks make $250 billion and we're all broke. But remember what I told you about their loan losses? The ones that, since we didn't sell them, we don't have to count them. $270 billion. And now we're getting ready to crash again. And I don't know, right? Hey, it's early yet. It's early yet. But it's sure starting to look this way. Janet Yellen comes out and says, hey, we need a rate cut. President nominates Stephen Moore to be on the Federal Reserve. He's like, we need a 50% cut right now. Of course, a 50% cut. Still, because I want to say the 5-year note went below 2% today. This is not good news. I wonder what broke. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I could point to say, okay, here it was. Something broke. Something broke last night. Did a bank try to get use collateral last night? Use some loans as collateral and get refused? I don't know. We'll find out eventually. It'll come out. I'll find it. But everything, this whole slowdown that they're talking about, that's just a slowdown, looks like it got a lot worse. And this is what I worried about. This is what I kept telling you. I didn't understand. Listen, the bond market signaled the slowdown months ago. The 10-year note went from 3.25 to 2.7. That was the slowdown part. Now it's gone from 2.7 to 2.35. And it's not done. I don't know where the bottom is. Remember yesterday, and that the Dow gained 100. I think it ended up with 120 points yesterday. But remember, early in the morning, the Dow was up almost 300 points, and gold was down like $5 or $6. And I said right on there, I said, I can't tell you why. Let me tell you the story that they're putting out on the mainstream media. Oh, bond rates have stabilized. Yeah, I guess that didn't even last 24 hours. And this time around, the FHA's already told you, listen, credit scores are getting worse. We can't loan these people this money. We got way too much money out there with bad credit scores. We're going to make it harder to get loans as rates are falling. All these people out here now, you can't take advantage of a falling rate if you're already maxed out. You know what would be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if your credit card company lowered your minimum payment? They never do that. God, that would be great. Maybe I'll have to look into that. I say they never do that. Maybe they do, and I just don't know it. But no word yet from Jay Powell and the central bank. We'll have to see how it all plays out. I wanted to do this story, and we talked about the trade deficit number, and I told you none of that's true. Right? Just know this. Trade deficit essentially in goods was the exact same. The U.S. current account deficit. Okay, this is a measure of a nation's debt. Oh, here's the break. I'll finish it in the next segment. U.S. 20s, 1,400 at 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. Got guys in picking up a buddy of mine, Steve. He was supposed to come on Friday, but he was too busy going to the bar to watch the NCAA tournament. Didn't invite me to the bar. I know that. But he's finally made it in here today, picking up his product. Man, I'm going to have to save this for tomorrow. By the way, the current account deficit, because the trade deficit fell 15%. No, it didn't. Current account trade deficit rose 6.2%. There you go. Yeah, that's the real number. How much money do we got to borrow from everybody else? By the way, the highest level since 2012 had to buy, in one quarter alone, we had to borrow $134 billion from other countries. How about this? I'll go into more detail about this one tomorrow. The Treasury Department, along with the central bank and the federal government, has now made it even easier for the companies that still have pensions to get rid of them. Now, most of these companies have already gotten rid of them, but the people that are already on a pension, they're now allowing these companies to essentially say, here, here's a lump sum payout, you're done. And that it's going to be horrible for those people, but a lot of these people, they're broke, they'll probably take it, right? And let me just spell it out for you. Since the 1980s, the numbers have been getting smaller and smaller of employees receiving pensions from their employers, and instead have been given the 401k account. The reason? Now, this isn't me, okay? Pensions are expensive to maintain, and they're a big liability for companies. Let me tell you what that means, because I know some of you may not understand. Pensions are a way better deal for the employee, and we want to get rid of that. That's what it says. Hey, aren't you glad, though? I mean, the Dow's 25,000. What did it cost you? A good retirement, right? Cost you being set for life, not having to worry about being one bad break away from a medical expense that puts you in bankruptcy. This is what they did. And guess who's all behind it? You know who's behind it. Jay Powell and his buddies, the guy that can't putt. 800-951-0592. Time to put away some more gold and silver. Listen, Trump's right. He's telling you. Donald Trump is telling you the head guy in charge isn't any good at his job. Problem is Trump can't fire him. U.S. $20 gold pieces, $1,400 at 800-951-0592. Gold's at $1,312. Silver, $15.60. The Dow is down several hundred points as the bond market continues to roll over. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back tomorrow.